Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey, Resurrection fans! Welcome back for another week here at AFTERBUZZ TV's Resurrection After Show. We are proud to welcome back. He returns to us, G Madison.
Christopher Columbus is like.
Why are you saluting?
You are.
Well, because I'm honored. I feel honored to be back here on the panel with
Look,
these
I can't
beautiful
stop
people.
smiling, you guys. My cheeks are a little red.
Look at us. We're back
Oh my
again,
God,
sweetie.
we're back.
We are very excited. It's almost like somebody went to the other side
And
brought
came back.
Yeah.
Oh.
Brought back a G Madison along with him. We're talking about season 2, episode 11.
Oh man.
Oh man, guys.
man.
This was, this episode to me was leagues above anything from the first half of the season.
Wow.
How so?
So the pacing seems to have picked up.
Yeah.
They actually feel like they know where it's going and they're
I see.
getting there. As opposed to earlier in the season, it was the Resurrection standard episode was like, all right, we're going to muddle through some like minor relationship drama and stuff's going to happen. And then in the last 10 minutes, craziness would
Yeah.
happen and you'd be sucked in again to come back next week. But that like 40 minutes in the beginning, you're like, okay,
Tell me something. Yeah.
what's happening?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the shows usually goes by pretty slow, but I think you have a point. Like last week,
Yeah.
I guess last week started to go really fast and finally picking up some speed, I guess, in time for the finale. But
Yeah, I mean,
better late
we
than
know
never.
more. We know more about these people now, So now we can kind of
Yeah.
move faster, and we know so and so is crazy. We know so and so is creepy. We know so and so is clairvoyant or whatever, So
what are
it's
you?
like all three.
Oh, okay.
G's just everything that you can need.
Everything plus more.
I'm every man.
But we do
It's all in me.
Oh my God,
We do
I'm so
have
happy you're here.
a guy with powers now, or seemingly with powers, at least
Yeah.
more control over
Yeah.
what's
It's
going
now
on.
the X-Men. Yeah.
Yeah, Preacher James, the guy we met, the creepy guy in the hoodie,
See?
wandering through the.
So creepy.
Creepy works.
Telling you.
We came back to him, and after the crazy ending with not locusts, cicadas shooting up
Cicadas.
out of the ground,
Mm-hmm.
we find out that it's a vision. Well, it didn't really happen.
Yeah.
It's
Sometimes
all-
I get confused in the show, like what's a vision and what's
Right.
really.
Because it's so crazy. Like
They do it so well.
And I know we're not predicting, but it's kind of like almost they're showing us foreshadowing kind of, it's been like that before. Even the
Yeah.
first season, people had dreams and then they came to fruition, and
Yeah.
and so
What steps this one up a notch is that it's a shared vision between Preacher James and Marty, and that puts it into, is this like a
whole nother realm.
power
Yeah.
thing where is this the next step, the next evolution of the Returned?
I mean, when Preacher James made that comment, like, oh, in your dream in the woods, I almost feel like, not that any part of the show is realistic at all, like at all, I understand that, but that was really pushing it for me. I don't know. I just want them to almost like stop with the, an over realism. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want them to keep pushing these
Overshooting it a little
boundaries.
bit.
Yeah, like I just feel like we're pushing it. And like we already have a ton of dead people coming back, so let's kind of ease it in the other realms.
Yes.
Yeah, I wonder what the conversation is on the couch when they're writing these things, like,
Right.
Well, we're already bringing people back from the dead, you know what I mean? Or we're already
Right.
doing this, we're already
Right.
doing that. what's to do this? You know what I mean?
Right.
How much more are we pushing the envelope to do?
That's the trick with science fiction and fantasy, and what makes it really tough is that you have to you're putting yourself into an unbelievable world, and then but you still have to set rules for that world, or the audience is going to be confused and lose touch. So like now we've changed the rules, like. To this point, Returned was random. If you died as a Returned, you would come back unless you were letting go of whatever reason brought you there in the first place. That was the rules that we had established. Now this is something new that people can be intentionally brought back.
Right.
Yeah.
What I'm having trouble with though is why we've gotten now more. We're not getting any more answers. We're just getting more questions.
Right. And a lot more people.
What makes a sci-fi show good is when they're like this kind of mystery show is when they have a ton of questions, and as soon as you get an answer to those questions, it opens up a whole bunch more questions. But you got that answer to begin with, and that's what you need to keep people hooked. Is like, oh, I figured that part out. Oh, but that means, then what is that? And it builds on itself. Yeah. Resurrection's sort of continuing the same question.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's on purpose or if we're just not paying attention, you know? Like, I'm sure there's clues everywhere, and I'm hoping there's clues everywhere that maybe at some point we start to connect the dots. Oh, that's why that happened. And then, you know, maybe somewhere closer, we're getting close to the finale.
But do you think it's too much if they put that all together? Like all these answers, if all these answers start coming out all at once?
It might be their. It might be their way. You know?
If it makes sense, it can work. Like if it's all just like big questions and then we answer them at the end, it could work. It's risky because
it's risky.
You risk that like the Lost ending, which is like super, which I personally enjoyed, but a lot of people didn't because they they built and built and built and built until. There's this answer is just hanging like a carrot dangling at the end, and then you get there and the carrot's rotten.
Yeah,
or it's not or it's not what you were expecting.
It's stew.
You get up there and it's actually just like a piece of celery. Yeah, like, but I thought it was going to be a carrot.
Juicy carrot. I'm just hungry.
Oh
That's
my
all.
God.
But I think you're right though, and it is a gamble to run a show like that. You know, to just put all these different questions out there and never answer them or wait so long to answer them that people have said, you know what, they're just giving us more to think about. They're not really answering anything.
And
so I hope
also, sorry, keep going.
No.
Okay. Mine really wasn't that important statement.
Please.
I was just going to say
interrupt my deep question. Okay.
All I was going to say is that not to like downplay the viewers, but in reality, half of America has an attention span of, like 13 seconds. So if you pile on...
Squirrel.
What?
Yeah,
What's going on back there?
Yeah.
So if you pile on all these answers, I feel like it's just a lot for an audience to take in, especially with these outlandish, claims.
Yeah,
and
well,
kind
what's
of
the payoff? The payoff is we're all going to love it at the end. We're all going to finally get the answers that we're all hanging on the edges of our seat for.
Right.
And some people will definitely fall off the edge of their seat and go on to the next. And I'm hoping that we hold on to them.
And that's sort of the risk you run when you keep introducing factors and questions about like how does this work? And I think Bellamy in this episode sort of he embodied that, and like he embodied sort of the audience's viewpoint a little bit, where he thinks he knows the rules. Like people come back. But that's not a controllable thing. And so when Preacher James is like, no, I can bring them back. I can bring back whoever I want. Bellamy refuses to believe it. Right. Just like the audience is like, what? You can't do that. That's not the rules that you have established. Right. And that's sort of, we need a reason that he can do this.
Do you think that Bellamy would have agreed to do it if Jacob wasn't like, please, Marty, you have to try?
If Jacob looked up with him, had looked up with him with those giant puppy dog eyes.
Do you think he would have done it?
I think that other people would have convinced him. I mean, the argument of what do you have to lose is pretty compelling because, literally, what else is he doing? It's not like he has a job he has to go to and the next day and he has to get some sleep. Like, go help maybe bring your friends.
Is he getting paid? Like, is anybody getting paid? Like,
Well, it's actually so funny. I know we're jumping around, but this is the first time that it was brought up. I don't know why I just blanked on her name. Pregnant.
Rachel.
When they were talking about how Rachel, like, you know, she's like, I want to pay, you know, on my own dues so she can pay rent. Like, no one in this entire series, like, Maggie is the only one, Maggie and Fred, are they the only one who have jobs? Like, how does everyone just like,
well,
right?
Henry and Lucille are retired, so I imagine they're on Social Security. Or just like, Langston's were very well off. Like,
and I guess they
have
do live
money.
in Arcadia, the price of.
Yeah. Fred has a job.
Okay.
He's the sheriff.
Maybe it's just Marty that doesn't.
Marty technically is employed by whatever.
Yeah, but I thought they like gave him the boot.
No, they brought him.
He's rogue now, isn't he?
No, I think he still works for them.
My point to all this is that
Yeah.
Marty can't take Maggie on a date.
Oh. And that's important. That's important. He
there
wouldn't be
already-
sitting on the
It is
floor.
important.
He wouldn't be sitting on the floor anymore if he could take someone out on a real date.
That's what I'm saying.
He wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
I mean, they're already at the living together stage, though. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
they
but
just
homeboy
skipped
is
over-
sleeping on the floor.
they skipped over the big like first kiss step.
just,
I guess
just
so.
come on in here. Let's just have grandkids. They go straight to the grandkids.
I mean, they sort of already have a daughter.
Actually, it's true.
That's technically Marty's older sister, except that she's 9.
Oh.
It's all over the place. But I mean, that scene in the apartment was really cute because it looks like they're like a little happy family, a little bizarre, like half dead people family.
We're the zombies. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's the Maggie and her zombies.
Oh my gosh, she must feel all alone.
But
I thought I had relationship issues, and there's like half dead people in her living room.
And she's doing just fine.
Yeah.
Just fine.
I mean, if you had Omar Epps sleeping on your living room, does it matter if he's alive or dead?
Oh,
Good
that's
point.
nice.
Or semi-alive?
Good
Whatever you
job. I know that. We had to put some milk in the fridge.
But I guess the question is like, what do you like? Can you trust before we see him obviously bring Henry back? Like,
Right.
once that happens, like, okay, we know this guy knows something else. But before that, like, can we trust this guy? He literally has slicked back hair.
I mean, like I said last week, and like Marty says, he's like, in my gut, I don't trust him. Like, I understand that we're talking about a TV character, but as a TV character and as a viewer, the first second that they introduced him, bad vibes all around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The question is like, but what gave him the power to bring people back from the other side, or the knowledge of how to do it?
You're right.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
Probably the same knowledge that Margaret. How did she find out?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess we found out last week when she said that she witnessed the guy telling the other guy to let go, and that would free him from like the cycle of murders.
It feels like she's almost a returned whisperer. You know what I'm saying? Like, she kind of knows a lot more, and she puts the pieces together. Like, she just heard this, and so I'm sure his is probably just as simple. You know what I mean? Someone probably gave him the code, to do it. So I don't know. I'm curious, and when we're all gonna find out, maybe we all have that power. Maybe they all had the power.
They all have the power if they
It's
die.
within. They just don't use it.
If they all have the power if they die to bring somebody back with them when they come back to life.
Yeah, see, I don't know if I like all the introducing of the new rules. You have to die first, and it's like, how did you know that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess when he died, he mentioned like sensing people around him. Like he said, the big quote at the end was, "I sensed there were others, and they were just waiting." So like he can sense at some point when he's on the other side, which this is the only guy that we've seen so far who's been conscious on the other side in any form.
Right.
But he sensed a lot of others around him.
It's like an "I see dead people" line. That's pretty deep.
I would love to follow
I feel
him
dead
into
people.
that world so we could like see whatever is going on. And then we get all the answers.
That's like a whole other. That's just adding so much more onto an already really full plate,
Yeah, and there's a lot of very interesting stuff to do there. But as much as I want to see that, we did finally get to see in this episode a whole part of the world that we had not been introduced to, which is the government facility. We actually get to see
lockdown,
where they're all living.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, it's just like jail.
Being kept. Yeah.
It looked like prison.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, except there were, like, with the lack of orange jumpsuits, it could have easily been Orange is the New Black.
Yeah.
Right.
You have, like, one woman, like, trying to steal, like, just taking another woman's glasses for whatever
Right, for
reason.
what?
It's like they're creating a whole nother society, like a whole nother little...
Like niche.
Yeah. That's scary.
Got
I'm
you.
sure they do it to us. Yeah, you got me. I'm sure they're doing it to us in some way, you know what I mean, in real life, but just kind of containing us.
Putting us in a prison?
Yeah, we just don't know it yet.
We just don't know.
Life is
Deep.
the prison.
Say
and
it.
basically what's happening is we're dying
Come on.
then we, like, you get freed, but some people get in trouble and so they get sent back.
Yeah.
And that's the town of Arcadia. They're all getting into trouble.
Guys, that was a lot.
Other side.
No, you keeping up?
I'm not following it either, Chelsea, so don't.
Our fans are. They know exactly what's happening.
If they're
not.
following us, my hat is off to you. But I thought it was very interesting. It's this little line in this sort of semi-prison holding place where it doesn't feel bad necessarily, but it feels
not
oppressive.
necessarily warm either.
Yeah, it feels like a prison. Like they're going through the mess hall, eating crappy food, like dining at like tables with the trays while like, and you get that sense that when Margaret walks in there, like you almost feel like she has to like fight somebody. It's like fight somebody or join a gang, and it's like
But even in the other aspect, the woman whose glasses she gave back, I don't remember her name. It might have been Elizabeth. I think I just made that up.
Sarah.
It was not Sarah.
They'll tell us.
But I've never been to jail, but from what I gather, people try to like sneak out of jail, right? So in the moment, you guys, I'm being serious.
Yeah.
So in the moment, she's like, we're trying to get out of here. We're trying to plot a plan. No?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Well, it sounds. The thing is, while it's not prison in the sense that they're not like bars coming across their doors. They're not like in your cell by 8 and then you like stay there. They are very much being kept here against their will.
Right. So that's what she said. They're trying to plot to break out of there.
Yeah, it's gonna be a revolution.
Yeah.
Oh, prediction. Sorry.
I like that
Keep it
though
in.
because I think that we will absolutely see this, but Margaret, when she's asked to join, she's like, I don't want to leave. Like
But do you think she really means that?
At the time, yes. At that moment, I think she absolutely does believe, like, say that she does want to be there. Like, she had every chance to not go there. Like, she didn't.
Yeah.
She didn't have to stay with Henry and Lucille anymore. Fred offered to put her up, like, in a hidden place. She chose that because I think she felt like she needed to be away from people.
Yeah.
Like, she was causing damage by being there, but something is still keeping her around. Like, she's not letting go. She just doesn't know what to do next. I guess the way I'm looking at it, this is not Margaret Langston. This is Margaret, whatever her original last name is. But this is her. She threw off the Langston shackles, and this is just that little girl who didn't want to get married.
Wow. It's deep.
But without the Langston, she doesn't know where to go next.
Yeah, without that legacy behind her. Yeah. What do I do? Who do I?
Yeah. But I think that Henry coming back may light a fire under her ass.
In what way?
He said ass.
I'm pretty sure you can say.
Can we say that word?
Well, I just said it, so
Okay.
it's.
Thumbs up. Got it. Okay.
Ass.
We're 5
Anyway.
years old. It's fine.
Anyway, but it was just
His return. What do you think his return is going to do? What do you think she's going to want when she sees him?
She collapsed at that moment. Like she was strong while the guard guy was in the room, and then as soon as he left, she allowed herself to sob. And then when she hears that he comes back, there was something about that look in her face that I'm like, there's like she is now piecing together other pieces of this puzzle. Like she's putting together other pieces of the puzzle that will, I don't know what she's going to do with it, but she's going to, maybe she will now try to break out.
But then the security guy or whatever we want to call him mentioned that it was Preacher James. and also like the look in her eye. I mean, there's something about him, because she kind of like pieced it together, and
I wonder if he was the one that was killing all of the people back in when she was a little girl.
Oh, I don't know.
The timing,
because he did say that I do horrible things.
Yeah, he said he was a wicked man.
Yeah.
The timing lines up. He died in 1934.
That's
I think.
way too much math for me. I don't know.
Either way, it would
carry the 1 divided by pi.
I'm still lost.
It would fit if he was the one that carried that out, and that would be something incredibly wicked, something incredibly terrible that he's trying to make up for. I don't know what exactly that would do, but I would be intrigued. But we got a name for what I've just been thinking of as Gorilla Guard.
You're not the guard. What is his name again?
Randy.
I don't know if he looks like a Randy.
He doesn't.
Randy's kind of like a softer name.
That was a surprise. Well, he seems, in this episode, he's a really nice guy.
Yeah,
his name is like Tavares or something. Yeah, something tough.
No, I agree with you. Yeah, he brings her the peanut butter and jelly, and
yeah. He brings
little guy.
He's like, he wants to talk to her. He wants to know what she's about. Like he wants to help. Like, what's his game?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone.
He's
has
a minion
an
for some. Yeah, everyone has an ulterior motive, especially in that town. I wonder.
Because he's working for the government. He's like there, like he said he used to be a prison guard, so this is like his like. I got into government, like next level prison guarding, because they can trust me with secret prisoners.
Right. I don't know.
Dead ones. Ones that won't move.
But yeah. No, they suddenly were just like, oh, let's give that guy a backstory.
Yeah.
And it's a good backstory. I'm not sure what it is that he wants.
Maybe it's just a filler to throw you off. Maybe he doesn't want anything.
Maybe. Or maybe he just really likes Margaret.
Maybe he has a crush on Margaret.
Hey, she was forced into a marriage.
There's someone for everyone.
There is. Tavares, go ahead and get it. Tavares, Randy Jackson, go on and get it.
I mean, whatever he wants, man. You should go for it. I don't think we're done with him though. Like the fact that they gave him a plot line and storyline, they easily could have given all of that, what he says, to another one of the Returned.
Right.
But to give it to him, to give it to one of the people that works for the government, there's a reason he's doing it.
Yeah, we can't underestimate the writers of this show. I mean, I'm sure they're probably looking for another avenue or angle, but I'm sure they're going to give him something substantial that's going to lead to something. You know?
Yeah. We don't yet know if there is going to be a season 3.
When are we going to know?
Who knows? They may be waiting. They're probably waiting until the season finishes out to see how the ratings do. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I don't think the ratings have been bad, but they haven't been anything stellar.
Not as good as first season.
Are they worse than first season?
I don't know, but they're not like standing out as much.
Yeah.
But they may. It's up to them. Like if it's the kind of thing where they could wrap it up in 10 episodes. Like maybe they're just like. Because the writers reportedly know the end of the show, which is always good to know. That it's not like, oh, we're just going to see where
it out,
like they know where it's going and they know where they want it to end, but they haven't been given an official like, you guys have 3 seasons, you guys have 5 seasons.
Yeah, I think the season's a little too long might be a little too long for this type of show.
Totally agree.
And so I mean, I like the show. I really like the show. However, sometimes it kind of can get drawn out, and especially for anyone telling a story, it's like get to the point. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
At some point, like let's go, and maybe they'll dead it, and then they'll bring it back to life. You know, I don't know.
Cancel it and then bring it back in a couple of years. But yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. The beginning of the season felt like it was like, why are we stretching this out so much?
Let's go. Let's move.
We could have condensed the first 9 episodes of the season into like probably 3. 6.
Okay. Like they're reserving.
That might be a little tough.
Like they're reserving information or something. It's like, no, let's just, but you know.
But these last 2 episodes have felt like they're finally like going quickly
better.
In the vein.
And now there's 2 episodes left, and who knows what that means.
I mean, yeah, you know, I know we want to go down the list of what happened in the show tonight, but I feel like there's so many other shows that kind of play with this same kind of dynamic. And so I feel like they could be walking a tightrope, like they can fall into the Lost, they can fall into the Walking Dead, it's like they can fall into all these different traps that would send us into like, oh, it's just like so-and-so, so right now we have about 4 different shows that we could liken it to,
Yeah, well, I've said it before in past episodes, but basically there's 2 different directions I see the show going, and there's the Lost direction, which is like you're gonna give us big answers and like give us a big mythology to play with and give us all of that insanity.
Right.
Or there's more of and this is not a show that's over, so it's a little tougher, but the Leftovers style, which Resurrection has a lot in common with.
Right.
But the Leftovers, they're very much upfront about there are going to be no answers on that show. They don't intend to give us answers. They don't want to. That's not what the show is about. Resurrection, I think, is leaning more, is somehow dead in the middle and could go either way. And I want it to go more of the Lost direction, where they can give us. There's too much going on, especially now with like being able to bring people back. Like that says to me we're going to get something. Yeah. Some kind of explanation. There's
a few shows that have happened in this time zone, I think, that do that. They just kind of give all these questions, and then give us an answer at the end. It's kind of like, there's the How to Get Away with Murder that kind of did that. They left the answer at the very, very end. Yeah. And there's that's a way, that's a way to do it. And maybe there's a lot of people out there that like that, who like to hear what our fans think about that.
Yeah.
If they want answers now, or if they're cool with, waiting around.
Yeah, please, guys, jump on the YouTube or the iTunes, if you will. The YouTube, the Facebook, the iTunes, the Twitter.
My face.
Guys, it's important to us. We want to know what you think of this show, of Resurrection, but also this podcast. And the best way to do that, the best way to help us out, is to go onto iTunes. Just takes a minute of your time. Just go on there, hit us with subscribe, hit us with a rating, a review. Let us know what you think. Do you need an answer from Resurrection, or are you fine just enjoying the character drama and the ride?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know from you guys. So let us know what you're thinking.
I want to know what you think about Zach's haircut, or about mine.
I got a haircut too. What about mine?
Did you?
Chelsea puts ours to shame.
We never know when women get haircuts.
It's impossible.
Yeah, I did.
Because you cut like a millimeter off, and you're like, you go to a hairstylist and pay $200.
And no one noticed.
I noticed.
Whatever.
I was going to tell you after the show.
But let's
rumors go.
Let's talk a little bit about Henry and Lucille.
Okay.
Because after last week, there was more or less we're like, oh my God, they're getting divorced. What's happening?
Done.
Right.
How do you feel about it?
I think it's awful that they set it. It's good awful that they set it up that they were fighting and they didn't get to resolve anything, and then he passes away.
I know.
So like, how sad. And I really didn't think that he was gonna come back, and so that made me like really ache for her, because when people do pass away in real life, you always your mind always goes crazy, but then to think that they were in such a disarray with their relationship, that was a lot.
Yeah, it's one of those really tough things, and this episode I think did a really good job showing and talking about the idea of like people die suddenly. It does happen. He had just a sudden heart attack like that. That happens to people.
Right.
And just like Fred never got the chance to say, I'm sorry that I tried to take Jacob away from you. Lucille never got a chance to resolve things with Henry. And it's like, it's very much saying like, say things while you can. Yeah. Like, tell people what you
need to say.
John Mayer, that's what I was just saying.
Say what you need to say. I totally agree with that.
It's true.
You got to live that way, 100%, all the way through, all in. And so I hope that what's going to happen now? Are they going to?
Do you think all of a sudden that they're just fine?
Oh, they're going to get back.
I want. They're going to get back. He's back to living in the house. Like she's not like. Thanks for. I'm glad you're alive again, but you're staying at Fred's.
Welcome back, honey.
Good to see you.
Here's your clothes.
Yeah, here's your suitcase. Get out.
They're gonna have some unbelievable
makeup.
Well, I do have to say, I didn't know if it was just
he might have another heart attack. I don't know if I want him to do that. Hey, baby. Oh!
Stop.
No, it's good for the body.
I didn't know if it was my perverted mind, but you know when she was on the porch, like, no, seriously, the way that she looked at him and then said nothing and then like walked back into the house.
It was like follow me, baby.
That's
right.
I'm done.
Am I right?
Yeah,
I know the signs.
I mean,
that is
Zach?
what she.
Yeah.
I know you've been gone for a while. You went to the other side.
No.
You've been gone. Now come
Yeah.
on back home, baby.
And I think it's all gonna be fine. Like sometimes in fights, I think almost you just get it. Nothing really needs to be said to resolve it. Like, you know what you did. You know what you did.
Yeah,
never
there are
to do
fights like
again.
that.
I don't like. Does that make sense?
There are fights like that.
And
yeah.
I think in that moment, especially after he just passed away, like we don't need to
Nothing
have
is that serious.
Right, nothing is that serious.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we don't need to sit down over coffee and like talk about what you said, I said. Like it's not worth it.
I think it was just the fact that he was calling her to do that, sit down and like talk. That says to her that he is
Right.
aware that he did wrong, which is really what it was, is that
Right.
he was refusing to acknowledge that he had done anything wrong.
That's what women want all the
Shocking.
time. They don't care if you apologize. They want to know why are you apologizing? Why are you sorry? And that right there.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you're
So
sorry.
we need to
Why are you sorry?
understand that you get it.
Or you'll be sorry and on the couch still.
God.
Yeah.
Because what happens is most of the time you guys just say sorry. You don't even know what you're sorry for.
Don't say you guys. Me and Zach are amazing.
I mean,
You know, I'm so
sometimes you get that thing
outnumbered.
though where you legitimately don't know what you did.
Yeah.
Right,
so
so
you
you
just
just
It
say,
happens.
baby, about that thing.
You know that thing.
I'm sorry.
On that day.
What'd you do? You know what I did, girl. I'm sorry about it.
Oh my God.
That's a good strategy. Just
Yeah.
go and apologize. Don't even know if you did anything wrong, but you've apologized
In the
for
Barry,
it.
It's
in the
not.
Barry White voice, if she looks at you a certain way, you just, I'm sorry, baby. And then they, oh, come here. You know, whether you died or whatever, it's like, come on back home.
Well, either way, Lucille is very happy to
Of
see
course
Henry,
she is.
because she refused
Yeah.
there was almost never right up until that last moment where she
She
finally
was so
collapsed.
confident
She
he was coming
never,
back.
she didn't even bother to go
Flinch.
look at the body. She's
Yeah.
like, no, he's come back. I don't know what Fred. What are you crying about? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, denial. That's what that
but
is.
what?
But it was also like a confidence thing. Like, I think it
Okay.
was denial, but
Yeah.
I don't know. That whole, it kind of spun me when they showed her like that. Because I imagined her to instantly just have a complete breakdown, you know? But when they came to her and she was like, not one tear had shed. And she's like, he's coming back, you know, like, so what do you want to do today? It was like a weird denial mixed with this utmost confidence that.
Well,
Yeah.
that's how a lot of people react to when
Yeah,
somebody
deny-
dies. They just
yeah.
straight up deny, like,
Yeah.
no, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
You're lying.
They're just gone
Yeah.
on a trip. He needs to think about some things. He's gone for a while. I put him out.
Yeah.
He'll be
Okay.
back. Mm-hmm. Where we eating? Hot juicy crawfish.
But it's going to be interesting going forward to see what happens, because he had this when he was outside, he had this super far away look in his eye, and I wonder if it's because he didn't want to come back. If being brought back like that was forced, as opposed to everyone else like came back with like a purpose, like a reason that they were back. Henry, he had that one little moment, that like vision moment where he was in Bellamy's office and he said, I want to thank you for bringing Jacob back to us. Like, that was like his like,
That whole moment was so, didn't you get a weird vibe from that?
I mean, to me, that was him saying, I'm
Like,
he's
he's
done.
okay.
Like, I'm gone. It's fine. But the last thing I wanted to do was thank you for giving me a few weeks with my son that I never had, that he grieved over. He was like shut down by grief for 30 years, but he got to have a few weeks with Jacob, and he could die happy having had that.
What if it was a look of just more knowledge, things that he went and came back with? You know what I mean? Now I know more. Now I see, like,
See it differently.
Yeah, and just a quick thing, like, I know people who have talked to even mediums. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And people will say they've heard them say, and my sister-in-law said she heard my brother say, everything is so different. I see it all.
Really?
I see everything now. you know, and it's like a Lucy thing, like the movie Lucy, but like I see it all, and maybe he comes back with this. Maybe that's what that look is, and now the things that I fought for, the things that I lived for, wasn't really that important. Now I get it, you know.
Yeah.
And
he's like soaking it all in.
Yeah. Like wow, like full circle. Here I am, and now I see what is happening, you know. And I feel it more.
It'd be interesting to hear more about what he has to say if he remembers the other side as well, because nobody else seems to.
I mean, because he was gone for not even, well, I guess, a day, right?
Yeah, but like I guess in my mind, like the wherever they went, it's probably like I imagine it being timeless,
right?
So that like a moment could be he could have experienced 20 years worth of stuff, or it could have been 2 seconds. Like,
good point.
Who knows how it works? I'm hoping he can give us some insight.
Yeah, maybe he'll share something.
Some insight.
Come on, Henry.
But yeah, let's move into. Oh wait, before we move into predictions, I did have one detail that I caught that Lucille was reading the intro to biology book, which was her master's degree that she had dropped.
When Jacob died.
From last episode, yeah. So I wonder if she's legitimately going back to school.
I hope so.
Also,
before we do predictions,
get a job.
I really want to pat Rachel on the back for finally calling what's-her-face a bitch.
Oh, yeah. We almost...
And I don't know if I can say that word either.
You can't.
You're fine.
But
I'm
sorry.
She said it on the show.
Thumbs up. Cool. Okay. So, because finally someone called her out.
Yeah. It's about time.
She's an awful human.
She's nuts. Yeah.
She's not human.
Yeah, whatever.
But yeah, so we finally got Rachel. Her pregnancy is speeding up again, but she's not quite there yet. So I'll bet you season finale, that's when we're gonna see the baby, and we're gonna see if it's human.
I was just gonna say, oh my god, what if the baby's all sort of?
It's gonna look crazy.
What if the baby comes out and it has
happen.
like angel wings, and she just like gives birth to an angel?
If that happens, I'm not doing the next season. I'm out.
Zach, you're on your own.
Yeah, Zach, you got this because
celestial beings and stuff.
I'm not all about that situation.
I wonder. Yeah, they're again, they're on a thin line right there. If they go one way, it's the aliens. If they go on the other way, it's the Bible. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No, you're right.
We're in a tough place.
It'll be interesting to see. And now she's living above the bar with Elaine, and she's gonna be waiting tables while pregnant. Like, when is she gonna be able to wait tables? She's a single mother. I guess if it's downstairs, like, it's easier. But
I don't know.
An elevator. Yeah, I don't. I mean, maybe it's gonna be a black kid. Maybe it'll be a black kid, or as they call them, a colored.
It's Tom's kid.
Well,
but this show's weird enough. So
you never know.
You never know. Maybe it wasn't Tom's.
Ooh, it's gonna come out looking just like Fred.
Maybe it's actually Jesus's baby.
Comes out speaking scriptures. Yeah.
But yeah, any other moments that you guys really liked from the episode?
The beginning and the middle and the end. I loved it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
The one other thing that stood out to me, there's this little detail in the back of the mess hall in the government facility.
Yeah.
There's a poster that says "Don't spoil your second chance."
Oh wow!
Like the government. Did you see that? In this show has some.
Yeah.
Oh.
I just like that the government hired a graphic
I
designer to make a poster that says "Don't spoil your second chance"
but
to
cool.
motivate their captives.
Yeah.
No, but I also take that, like, if you have them in this prison like setting, it's kind of a slap in the face. Like, that's an ironic statement to make. Like, don't ruin your second chance. Yet you're like,
it's just like a sarcastic, sarcastic poster. Yeah, and usually you see something that says you only get one chance, you only get one shot. You know what I mean? So now it's probably, how many shots do you want? You can have 4 if you want. If you die first, you can have 3 or 4.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's move into official predictions.
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
Play that music.
Nope.
Well,
okay.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions. There it is.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
How would we ever do without the lights?
Yeah. I'm gonna get a seizure.
I don't know.
day.
The people that are just listening to this are probably like, I did pretty well, I think.
I don't see any lights in here.
So next week, what is happening? We see that there might be millions of returns.
Which I just don't like. I think I said that out loud when we were watching. I did. I'm like, that's too much for me.
Yeah,
That's a whole other level of this show, and I don't know if I'm going to be on board with that.
With 2 episodes left, so next week's our penultimate episode. This is like the same place we were at the end of last season.
Right.
Like it's the exact same beat of
Wow.
Oh, we have this many returned, but
there'll be more.
There's gonna be more.
Right.
But like without anything else, and now we saw like a little glimpse of like a map that had red all over it.
Right.
The United States, right?
Yeah, but that would be cool because that at least implies that it's not now just in Arcadia.
That's
that,
exactly.
Like, it would go elsewhere.
Yeah, but then what
Has
would that
to.
mean? I don't know.
It has to spread out somewhere. It has to, or we're just like, this city, come on, like who cursed this city? Like, well, I'm not moving anywhere that sounds like that city. But I don't know. My prediction is that something like that poster is going to inspire someone to a revolution. You know what I mean? Especially when they get millions, right? "Quote unquote" millions of return. I bet you, right?
You mean a revolution
I don't
like
know.
from within the government facility?
Yeah, they're gonna break out of there. Let me just say that clearly. They're gonna break out of there. And they're gonna take over. They'll be in the streets, and there's gonna be more of them than us. That's what I think.
I mean, there are a lot more dead people on the planet than there are alive people. If you think about all the buried,
and they're gonna come out of the ground just like those locusts or whatever they're called.
the cicadas.
Cicadas. Watch. That was a foreshadowing. I'm brilliant. Next.
Well, I don't have anything to say.
What do you predict? What do you think is gonna happen?
I mean, I think you're right. I think they're going to have these mass amounts of people coming back. And I'm just afraid for the show a little bit because I think that's adding a whole other level that, like, we've talked about this whole time. We already have all these questions.
Overdoing it.
Yeah, that's like, if that happens, I think they'll have to, maybe obviously the writers know best, but it has to be a really careful tactic because if not, the whole show goes into another shift.
Yeah, and I mean, because it's coming at the end of the season, that's a good thing. Because that
Right.
means season 3 won't be the same thing that we saw in
Right.
season 2 and season 1. It'll be something different because in theory it gets us outside of Arcadia.
Right.
Arcadia is kind of like, I guess it's like the Google Fiber setup, like where they just go to like some little city that like nobody cares about. And they're
Right.
like, we're gonna install these super crazy fancy electronics in your town and then test it before we give it to everybody
Right.
else. And now they've tested the returned and they're going wide
Gonna
with
spread.
it.
Right. You're right.
I do think my big prediction. I think Marty is gonna wind up being some kind of returned prophet, like more
Okay.
so like he's gonna start to have abilities to do stuff with the returned, like Preacher
Wow.
James, because Preacher James is talking a lot about a prophet,
Right.
like you speak from your heart and all this, and Marty is like seeing now he's seeing dead people. He's like the little Sixth Sense
I see dead
child.
I think it's
Yeah.
gonna be Jacob. If anyone, it's gonna be the kid who's gonna save them all, or destroy them all. I still believe that. We said that I think last season.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
Jacob
Jacob's
would.
got something to him.
Yeah, he's a little too quiet lately.
Yeah.
He's been in that room
The
thinking
quiet
too much.
ones you have to be careful for.
There's like a battle, Jacob versus Bellamy.
Yeah, yeah.
This next Sunday.
And like head-to-head combat. Yeah, but I also predict that Marty
You have more?
is gonna make it into the bedroom and get off
I
that
mean,
floor.
it's about damn time.
Hope so
That's my prediction.
they're so close. Like they're like
And
he's
it's all so
consoling
weird.
her when
It's
she's
getting
sad.
weird now.
It's only like now I don't even know if I want it to happen.
Forget it. I know.
Forget it. You know, they didn't make the move and now sorry, dude.
He missed it.
Yeah.
You miss your opportunity.
Yep. You only get 2 shots.
Well, 2 shots, 2 more episodes to go.
Oh.
Actually, Marty got 3 shots if you think about it, because he died once.
Stop it.
But so until next week, we will be back. G Madison, where can the people keep up with you?
Oh,
in the
man.
interim?
Well, put on them shoes and keep up. I'm going to be everywhere. You can go on gmadisonlive.com and see all the things I'm doing a lot of things in dance and hosting and all that stuff. But G Madison the 4th or G Madison 4 on Instagram. Yep. How about you, my dear?
Hey. My Twitter and Instagram are at Briche, CBRICHE.
Let me write that down.
You already follow me and stalk me every day.
Zach.
You guys can follow me on Twitter at @ZachWilson, ThatZachWilson. And a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz. Agent Carter coming back on Tuesday. We got Grimm comes back this Friday, and a bunch more. Guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm Zach Wilson, and thanks for geeking out with us.
Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.